Alright guys, hey, welcome to the Alexa channel. My name is Alex, and this is going to be a music review of Jeff Rosenstock's Post. Jeff Rosenstock is a punk musician from Long Island, New York, famous for being in punk bands such as the Arrogant Sons of Bitches, which were a ska punk band. They released 2 albums before eventually breaking up in 2012, and bombed the music industry, which was more of his DIY project. Fun fact, actually, Jeff Rosenstock had the pay what you want idea way before Radiohead did that with their In Rainbows album. Look it up, he does a review about it, he was not happy. Anyway, like I was saying, in 2012 he broke off from his band the Arrogant Sons of Bitches and began doing music solo, releasing a mixtape known as I Look Like Shit. I admittedly have not heard that album, nor have I heard his 2015 album debut, We Cool. However, I did end up getting to his album Worry, which came out in late 2016, and it was 17 tracks, 37 minutes or so long, and I wasn't that huge on it. It had some admittedly catchy tracks, particularly at the end of the album, which was like a 10-track, really short song suite of songs that all went into each other, and I guess that's what really made it work for me. But for the most part, the album was kind of a hodgepodge of kind of weak song ideas, grating singing, and while I didn't hate it, I definitely didn't love it. However, the fact that I didn't hate it is what led me to checking out this album, Post, which came out this year. It was released on the first day of the year, and apparently it was written in about a month right after the 2016 election. It was apparently recorded in like 4 or 5 days, mixed, mastered, and all of that in about a month or 2 weeks, and then it just ended up coming out on New Year's Day. Now, I wasn't expecting anything great from this album, given how I did feel about the last album, but I'd like to say that I came away from this album extremely pleasantly surprised. Not only do I prefer Post to Worry, but this album is one of the most impressive pop-punk albums that I've ever heard in my entire life, incorporating power pop such as like Weezer and Car Seat Headrest, ambitious song structures, and just better, catchier, and rawer hooks with fuller production. For example, the pseudo-opener USA, which comes a little bit after this 5-second opening track, which is apparently one of Jeff's friends just being like, hope this makes it on the record. It's too short to be offensive, but it doesn't really do anything for the record in the long run. But the opener, the real opener, USA, oh my god. That song is incredible, and it's easily the best Jeff Rosenstock song that I've ever heard. In my opinion, the vocals that Jeff usually grated on me in the last album come onto this song in full force with its impassioned lyrics about dissatisfaction with the self, dissatisfaction with people, dissatisfaction with the country, and the delivery that he does it with just ends up being super interesting, and it makes it impassioned. And the instrumentation, it's so good. It's like literally the highlight of the album. The song is dynamic. It's 7 minutes and 30 seconds long, and not a second of it feels wasted. The instrumentation on USA goes through several phases, starting out kind of what you would expect from a Jeff Rosenstock record as far as Worry goes, with his very passionate singing, his very interesting instrumentation that he tends to include that makes it a lot different from a lot of pop-punk releases, except this time it sounds a lot more fuller. Where the song starts to become interesting is on what I would consider its chorus, and its chorus is just the bass line that comes in as Jeff and it sounds like a few other people are just shouting these lyrics over these soaring guitars, this beautiful bass line, and these just extremely well thought out and methodical drum patterns. Like, oh my god, it's so good. And then the way that instead of kind of getting really, really intense after that, the song kind of slows down a bit, and it goes into a synth bridge, which that wasn't on Worry. And the build-up with these impassioned yells of "we're tired and bored" over and over as the synth and the instrumentation begins to build up again. It's better than any post-rock song that I've heard since 2003. Like, it's ridiculous. And while I'm still singing praises about this incredible song, the outro of the song after it's been built up through that synth bridge to the end, it's going to go down as one of the highlights of the year. And if it doesn't go down as a highlight of the year, then this is going to be one of the best years for music ever, because the climactic, like almost orgasmic finish is just incredible. So minus the closing track, which is an 11-minute long song and kind of a sister song to USA, the remaining 7 tracks that aren't that opening track are much more what you would expect from a Jeff Rosenstock record. They're 2 to 5 minute long pop punk songs with some power pop in them and a couple ballads. Highlights, in my opinion, include the amazing song Your Throat, spelled Y-R. It's fast-paced, quick, catchy, and it's just a great pop punk song. Like, it's got a great melody, and the way that all the parts of the song flow into each other, amazing. Like, if all pop punk was like this, I'd be a much bigger fan of the genre. Another highlight would be the song TV Stars, which kicks the album down a notch in terms of energy, and stands out not only for that, but for its really interesting lyrics about people's love for celebrities, and how, in the end, like, you're putting a lot of love into people who will never care about you. And the instrumentation reflects this too. There are other songs on this, in this area, which is, I guess, the middle of part of the record, such as Powerlessness, that kind of go in the vein of Your Throat, but they don't stand out as much, because they're really just weaker versions of that song. And the song, like, 9 out of 10. Very much like TV Stars, but it's just weaker, so it doesn't stand out as much. However, that is not to say that there's a single bad song on the album, except for maybe the song Beating My Head Against the Wall, which only works if it's transitioned from the song Melba, which comes right before it. It doesn't really work on its own, but in the context of the record, it gets all the momentum from that previous song and just ends up working, so that's completely fine with me. Like I said, though, this middle half of the record kind of varies between really good, with the songs like Your Throat and TV Stars, and not amazing, but not bad, and certainly not reaching what I thought was kind of boring, like some of the songs on Worry. And then let's talk about the closer a little bit, Let Them Win. Like I said, it's 11 minutes long, and while it is similar to USA, it's not the same. The first 5-6 minutes of it kind of act like a normal Jeff Rosenstock song. It's fast, it's anthemic, it's inspiring, and it works really well as a closer. But what this song does that is interesting is it closes out with about 5.5 minutes of just synth. What I mean by that is it's just a synth drone. Like, it's a couple notes kind of and a couple chords just playing out very slowly, not really changing at all, and it's almost like an ending credits type theme. Like, you could turn this off at any time and you wouldn't be missing out on anything, but if you did stay to the ending, you would get this very full, like, I just got through this entire thing experience to it. And it really lends a lot of power to the rest of the record, because you're kind of just forced to sit there and think about what you listen to. And I honestly, while it might be a bit overlong, I thought that it was very, very effective. Overall, in my opinion, Jeff Rosenstock's Post is a major improvement over Worry. Not only does it have better production, it has better songs, better melodies, better structures, more interesting structures, and a better flow as a record overall, except for maybe the last half of that album. But then again, there is the first half of Worry, which kind of just discredits the last half of it. So overall, this album is just a lot better. And while I can't say that I loved the entire thing, I did like a great majority of it, and I have no problem giving it a high 7 out of 10. I'm curious to see where Jeff goes from here, and I will be watching to see if he puts anything out next year or the year after that. And now I'm actually looking forward to it a lot more than I would. Anyway, thank you guys for watching. Make sure you check out my Patreon link. Make sure you follow me on Twitter, and hit the subscribe button that's going to pop up somewhere on here. I'm not sure yet. If you're not subscribed already, like this video, add it to your favorites, tell your friends, and make sure that you leave a suggestion of what I should review next in the comments. See you guys.